It's going to be a top-heavy NBA season. That's Rick Strom. I'm Jason Rubin.
Hello, Jason.
Hello, Richard. We're going to talk about some of the best big threes and/or fours, sometimes even big five, depending on the lineup, big eights, big sevens, going across the NBA. Now, because Dwayne Wade has joined the Cavs, pump the brakes. We get it. It's not prime Dwayne Wade. He doesn't make a big three of big threes with LeBron, but as we talked about in the previous clip, you know what? No, I'm not going to tell you what we talked about in the previous. Go watch the previous clip.
Yeah, go watch it.
If you want to see about the Dwayne Wade addition and why he's if managed correctly, is going to be a good, suitable pickup. Now, the Warriors are the #1 team in the league. It doesn't matter who you put on any other team right now. The Warriors are going to be better. The Warriors, who were 31-2 over the last 33 games, including the playoffs, they lost one game over like the last 10, 11 games of the regular season, 15 games of the regular season, and they lost one game in the NBA playoffs in its entirety. Steve Kerr is very sure that they are going to get better, and this is something that Rick, I've been saying for a long, long time. If you think that Steph Curry and Kevin Durant aren't going to come back as a better duo this year than they were last year, you don't watch basketball. It's simply the same phrase as boxing, just replace the B with a different B, being basketball, and you don't know shit about basketball. So the Warriors are still tier 1, way ahead of everybody else, and everybody else can compete for tier 2. But now, after that, Rick, you have a Cavs team that includes LeBron, Kevin Love, Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, J.R. Smith. You have the Thunder, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, and Russell Westbrook. You have the Celtics, let's not forget, with the Kyrie Irving and Al Horford and a Gordon Hayward. And you have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's also not forget that you have an Andrew Wiggins, a Jimmy Butler, and a Karl Anthony Towns in such a loaded Western Conference.
Yeah, if only they were in the East.
Who, the Wolves? Oh my God, that would have been great. Yeah. There's a couple teams that just missed the cut, though. The Rockets, sure, Chris Paul and James Harden make up such a unique backcourt. Clint Capella, but like we don't know who's going to emerge from there.
Good with alley-oops, not a ton
very
developing.
Worked super well with worked very well with James Harden. I think will continue to work very well with Chris Paul because I think he kind of plays that DeAndre Jordan, the finish. What was it? Ralph Lawler. Bingo, bingo, bingo.
Yeah.
Oh, bingo. Times. Ralph Lawler is the LA Clippers. He's the LA Clippers radio guy. Rick, outside the Warriors, who do you think has the best big 2.5 through 4.5?
Yeah, it's a really good question.
Well, who do you? I think I have a more fun question.
I'm taking all my notes right now because I'm just trying to think like as I go. There we go. As I go through, I have horrible penmanship. As I go through this, I mean, like, yeah, if you want to do your own respective tiers, that's fine. So Golden State is in the tier of their own. The second tier would probably be Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City because they're veterans at this point.
And
Boston. And Minnesota, I put Cleveland in tier 3 because they don't even have Isaiah Thomas yet. Dwayne Wade's going to be 36 in January. And yeah, that's probably the controversial pick.
LeBron James.
It's great.
LeBron James.
I think, so LeBron is the big 3 of just one player. Just LeBron.
He's kind of always been.
Do you disagree? Like as I'm thinking about this right now, like I can't put Minnesota in any not the first tier, but I don't know yet how well Wiggins and Jimmy are going to play off each other. Well, so it's TBD.
So to be honest, that's why I have Minnesota in 3.
Yes, I agree with that. And I have Cleveland in 3.
I have Cleveland in 2.
And I have Houston in 3.
I'm putting Cleveland in 2 for the reason that like LeBron James has been to the finals every goddamn year since I was born, and that's not true. Well, is it though? 26 straight years.
When were you born?
1991. 26 straight years. Is that the amount?
Almost.
Give or take, like 3 or 4 years, maybe.
He's going to be 33, right?
Yeah, but so is Ronaldo, and he's still great.
Is it 33 or 34?
I think he's going to be 33 because he came out
he's going to be 33.
33?
Yeah.
So Wade can't be 36. He's not 3 years older than LeBron James. Same draft class. Wade was a freshman at Marquette, was he not, when he got drafted?
No, I thought those were different.
Was he a sophomore?
Dwayne Wade's going to be 36.
Wow, Dwayne Wade. So he was the same draft class, but years apart.
Quick, there's a few more.
Minnesota hasn't proved anything yet because there's new pieces. We have to see them prove that. The most important thing they needed to improve on, obviously, was defense, and especially defense while having a lead. And that Jimmy Butler addition don't sleep on that Jimmy Butler addition, especially as one of the best two-way guards in the league. And of course, Wiggins about to tie up, I think he's about to tie up a lot of that contract money that's going to go into hopefully keeping some of this team together. So it's going to be interesting. But in the case of the Timberwolves, they got to prove first that, for one, they can hold a 10-point lead, because they blew the most 10-point leads, I believe, in the regular season in the fourth quarter, or at least the second half last year. Now, some of that is growing pains. Karl-Anthony Towns had a freak second half of the year and should have his first ever full-on MVP-esque freak season, where the numbers will be through the roof. And of course, he also has to improve a little bit, just a little bit on the defensive end, I think, as well. But that his ability on the block still, for a guy who has such a fantastic mix of the skills. He's not Anthony Davis, but I'm still trying to find what exactly he can't do that Anthony Davis can. Like, I think he's gonna unlock more of those tools with Jimmy Butler, of course. And then also Jeff Teague. The reason why I really like that Jeff Teague pickup, and is Rubio still there?
No, he's on Utah now.
He moved to Utah.
Yeah.
So the reason I like the Jeff Teague pickup is, if you remember in the Pacers system, Jeff Teague and I'm sorry, not the Pacers, the Hawks system, when he was playing.
Jeff Teague and Dennis Schroeder.
When he was playing ahead of Dennis Schroeder. So the thing I liked, and that was the Hawks team, by the way, that was all Eastern Conference players of the month. They won, like the whole team got it. Kyle Korver was raining his threes. You had Horford, you had Millsap, who's an amazing pickup for the Denver Nuggets. There's so many guys that have moved that we're sleeping on in general. But Teague in a system offense, and just a system that was run by Frank Vogel, which is the start of the demise for the Indiana Pacers when they let him go. Not Indiana, it was the demise of the Indiana Pacers. Back to the Hawks. Sorry, I'm confusing the hell out of everybody here. Teague has moved around too much. The Hawks system worked perfectly for Jeff Teague because he knew his defined role, and if Thibodeau does the exact same thing and he's not even close to the focal point, he's gonna be able to finish with floaters. He's gonna be able to finish at the rim, because there's gonna be way too much of concern around Karl-Anthony Towns and Jimmy Butler. But they have to prove that, and that's why they're tier 3.
All right, allow me, please.
OKC
I know that I was looking down through a lot of this segment. I wanted to put these in the Jason Rubin tiers, because I like to adapt. And Magic City, one of the most evil guys said, adapt or die. So I'm adapting. So here's what I have. The Golden State Warriors are in a league of their own, so they're tier 1, right?
Yep.
And in the second tier, Oklahoma City, okay? Russell Westbrook, Carmelo, I was gonna say Carmelo Anthony Towns, which would be really interesting if they played together. But Carmelo and, I don't know why my mind did that. It's like someone saying great. Russell Wilson, Russell Westbrook. Like it was similar to that.
Well, I call him DeRussell Westbrook, because it's DeMar DeRozan.
That's fine. All right, so Golden State is in tier 1. Oklahoma City's in tier 2 with Russ, Paul George, and Carmelo. I also put Boston in tier 2.
No, not tier 3 yet, sorry.
Tier 2, Boston, because they have the perfect inside-outside game within 3 levels of basketball, which is Kyrie Irving, who could shoot the 3, take you off the dribble, Gordon Hayward, who's a very, very good small forward, and then Al Horford, who could play dirty down low, get a lot of rebounds, and is uniquely and brilliantly over the course of time developed his game into being a 3-point shooter, spot up, or excuse me, catch and shoot. Not anywhere can he take you off the dribble for 3, but I appreciate him developing his game. So tier 3, this is where it gets interesting. I put Minnesota because, again, to reiterate my first point, I need to see how Jimmy and Andrew Wiggins, as they are very much the same player, Jimmy better defensively. I need to see how they mesh off of each other, because there's only one basketball. Tier 3, also with Isaiah Thomas being out, is Cleveland. Now look, we're going off of big threes. We're not going off of star players.
You're right.
So LeBron James is in tier 3 right now because, again, who does he have around him? 36-year-old to be Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, who maybe has no lower body left, and then also Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson as the game is passing Tristan Thompson by. So here's where it gets interesting. Tier 4. I have.
Bring it out of here.
Look, you asked me to give you the best
threes.
Tier 4 is the Milwaukee Bucks with Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, because Greg Monroe, the game is passing him by as well. So
should have played in 1997.
Along with Al Jefferson.
And Melo, what a team!
What a team! What a team!
And DeRozan, holy shit!
Tier 4 is Milwaukee. Tier 4, unfortunately, is San Antonio, with Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, and LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge might even get traded. And also in tier 4, I put the Philadelphia 76ers with Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. You could substitute one of those out if you really like JJ Redick or if you really like Dario Saric. And NA, because they don't have a 3, is the Houston Rockets. Because right now, not applicable. You have Chris Paul, James Harden. Who's your third?
Clint Capella.
No.
Why not?
Not there yet.
So what if he gets
even
there?
A member? I'd rather have the spot-up shooter Trevor Ariza knock him down from downtown in the corner than having Clint Capella. I'd rather have Nene. No, I wouldn't have Nene. So I'd probably rather have, but right now it's not applicable because they haven't shown anybody who could thrust themselves into that third role to be a member of the
NBA
victory.
championship.
So there you go. There are my tiers.
NBA championship Ariza. You're doing it by big 3, right? So that's fair.
Yes.
If that is the system that is in place, you're fine. That is the system that is in place. Sure. Warriors, OKC, Boston as number 2 tier, and then Minnesota, Cleveland number 3 tier.
I'm sorry. One more time. Go over your tiers. Just to separate, tier 1 is Golden State. Who's in tier 2?
OKC and Boston. By that logic, big 3s, then yes, OKC and Boston, tier 3, Minnesota and Cleveland. Now, which is the same as yours.
I agreed with that.
Now, here's the thing. If you're gonna actually talk about teams and go from like whole teams, Cleveland immediately moves up to tier 2 and OKC moves down to tier 3 because to your logic, there's only one ball. Now,
right, but I've actually figured out real quick the perfect system for Oklahoma City. It's taking the ball out of Carmelo's hands and making him a catch and shoot player, which we have gone over before.
Make him Klay Thompson.
Yeah, again, better ball handler, but yes, make him a catch and shoot 3-point shooter where he excels greatly in this landscape of the NBA.
But what Melo would have, it's almost rhythmic in Melo's mind. It's habitual. What you have to get Melo to do is shoot that ball, is catch it and shoot it, which he's proven he can do. But what you can't have happen is, what is Melo's favorite thing in the world?
Jab step, isolation.
He loves the jab step. He's obsessed
24-second shot clock, balls in his hand for 19 seconds.
He loves the 18-foot jab. And by the way, people have been biting on it for years, so it's not like it doesn't work, but
is Paul George the third option on that team?
No, Paul George should be the second option because motivated Paul George, happy Paul George in his system with a management like a Sam Presti and a Billy Donovan who are going to believe in Paul George is going to, once again, put up what I thought he should have done over the last 2 years with the Pacers. Paul George returned from, let's not forget, Paul George's leg snapped in half. Like, my God, at the 2014 FIBA games.
Pulled like a Kevin Ware.
2016?
Who was coached by? Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino.
No longer there.
How many escorts at that Olympics? Or FIBA, whatever it was. Regardless.
We're in agreement
So
on
by the way, can we also discuss this really quick point? Where are the NBA haters now? Because there's so many people when the Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors, they sit there like, NBA is my favorite. I love the NBA. It's my favorite sport.
This is you talking or the haters talking?
The haters were talking about when Kevin Durant, I'm done, not watching it. What's the point of even watching the regular season? We are about to enter such a landscape-changing NBA. All these teams gunning for the Warriors. What do I think is going to happen? The Warriors win. But I do think you're going to start to see some cracks, some ways to find a way to beat them. And just like USC, they couldn't win 3 straight. I think that you're going to be setting yourselves up for such a wild off. We just had a wild off season. Next year is as insane because there's the LeBron sweepstakes again. Of course, it's the twilight of his career. It's a different LeBron. Maybe it'll be player coach.
The people who said that they wouldn't watch the NBA are the same people that said that they would not watch Floyd Mayweather in a boxing ring again because his fights are boring.
You're right, and they would have watched him against Conor McGregor. So leave us your tiers. For best big 3s, if I start reading comments, you idiots, have you seen the start? It's not about starting lineup.
3.